braving the Seattle traffic for this first in a series of panels. And I also want to start with a special thank you to our panelists in favor of the $15 an hour wage increase. It's hard enough for people to speak in public, and it's much harder when you're coming before a crowd you largely disagree with. So I want to put a special thank you out to them. First, I want to address my bias. I am the moderator today, and some people might be thinking, wait a second, that's the guy who hosts the morning show. I know he has strong opinions. Well, my goal is to encourage a lively, informative, and passionate discussion. It may at times get heated, but my objective is to make sure it doesn't get mean-spirited. When Brit Hume was an anchor at ABC News, he said that everybody in the media has a bias. The problem is they refuse to recognize it. So I recognize that I have a bias, but in order to accommodate for that as moderator tonight, I've drawn questions from materials presented by the $15 an hour minimum wage hike advocates and requested suggestions from a liberal perspective, including that of our sister station, 97.3 Cairo FM. Host Dave Ross kindly provided me with some suggestions this evening. So you will hear I will try and adopt a liberal perspective when I am questioning Ben Shapiro and Paul Guppy, and I will try and adopt a more conservative perspective when I'm questioning our other panelists. So, two producers in the audience, Chris Martin and my own producer, Nicole, if they're here. We couldn't get up so early and do all these things without them. So if you catch them, thank them for making that possible. Now our participants. First up, Deputy Director of the National Employment Law Project, Rebecca Smith. Next, the Vice President for Research at the Washington Policy Center, Paul Guppy. Seattle City Councilwoman Shama Sawant. And best-selling author, columnist, editor, and KGTH Afternoon Drive host, Ben Shapiro. For the first portion of this event, I'll ask questions of the panelists designed to broaden into larger discussions. Each question will be directed to a specific panelist who will have at most a couple of minutes to answer, followed by observations and counterpoints made from other panelists. I'll try to keep the conversation relatively relaxed, but occasionally I may have to intervene to move things along. And again, I do alternate the questions. However, I did want to start with this, number one, first of all. Can we all at least agree that we would like to see people earning more and see less poverty? Not the most controversial question. Everybody agrees? Starting with agreement.
Is that the debate right there?
Excellent, right there. I think we've solved everything. Have a good evening. Question number one. Some people making below $15 an hour, and this is directed to you, Ben. Some people making below $15 an hour make ends meet by receiving government benefits in the form of food stamps and/or other subsidies. Some assert that this essentially means governments have enabled businesses to pay less and keep more for their bottom lines, resulting in subsidized corporate profits and people more dependent on government. Ben Shapiro, as a conservative who advocates for less dependency on government, why do you object to this reasoning?
I don't object to that reasoning. I think it's 100% true. I think the major problem that we have with regard to food stamps supplementing people's wages is that these companies are being paid off by the government. I mean, they're getting enormous subsidies from the federal government in the form of food stamps, and there are two ways that you can correct that in terms of wages. The first way that you can correct that in terms of wages would be with a measure like the minimum wage, which, as we'll argue about tonight, decreases, in my opinion, employment. The evidence, I believe, tends to show that it decreases employment, or at the very least puts a cap on it and makes it more difficult for small businesses to operate while big businesses are still getting these subsidies. And second of all, it creates a corrupt system where certain businesses benefit more than others. The second way that you are going to be able to prevent all of this is if you cut back a lot of these subsidies, forcing businesses to compete for labor. Labor is just like any other good in a free market. That means that people have to compete for it. So if you want wages to go up, then get rid of the government paying the other half of the wage, and you will see the wages automatically increase. I think that we should all be able to agree on the idea that wages need to increase. I think the difference is that the way to make wages increase is to have a fully consensual relationship between employer and employee. And I think this is really the root of the morality of minimum wage when it comes down to it. And in two sentences here is that I would never force an employee to work for an employer at a given wage. That violates the 13th Amendment and constitutes slavery or indentured servitude. By the same token, I would never force an employer to pay a given wage to an employee, because that is a lack of consent.
So am I. But the Native Americans are the question.
This is why, hold on.
Why are you carrying a gun?
Because I'm a fucking American.
Yeah,
I have that right.
Don't touch him, man.
I have the right.
You touch him, you're down.
This is my
You touch
Second
him, you're
Amendment
down.
right.
Now you're a white
My
man.
Second Amendment right.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you an American?
Why are you going to Mexico? Fucking do that again.
It's all right. He asked me, why am I carrying a gun? Because I'm an American
Stay away
citizen.
from him.
Are you an
Stay
American
away.
citizen? I'm not. Are you an American citizen?
Yeah.
Why are you not carrying a gun?
Because he doesn't want to carry a gun and add to the assholes. He doesn't want to add to the assholes like you.
It has nothing to do with. Oh my God! I'm an asshole.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm defending
We're
my
an
Second
American,
Amendment right.
ma'am. What do you have a Mexican flag for?
Man
Absolutely.
Man
Mexican,
I
that's
got
Yeah, right.
I gotta carry
Nice
a gun.
tattoo below the eye.
I'm
You just get it out. You just get out of here.
I'm Mexican and American flag.
Nice tattoo there, buddy. You need a teardrop
Why
tattoo
do you
maybe
think
next
Trump
month.
is a racist?
Trump is he doesn't
Why?
like women, he doesn't like blacks, he doesn't like Hispanics, and he doesn't like Muslims.
He's
He
hired
doesn't
more
like-
Hispanic
he likes
workers in this
himself.
country than
That's all he likes is himself.
Do the damn job, asshole!
No, I'm not.
Why do you have to?
I'm
Why are we
white.
calling names?
I'm white.
Why are we calling names?
So, white people don't like Trump just as much
White
as
people.
assholes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Why don't you go get a job?
I have a job. I'm
Do you?
retired.
What?
I work
You're at the food stamp bureau?
What? Don't even think
Infowars.com or outside of the Donald Trump rally here in Phoenix,
Not gonna
Arizona.
happen. You're not gonna
You
happen.
don't like American meat!
Trump, fascist pig. Trump, fascist pig. Trump, fascist pig. Fascist pig.
My basic point was, this is all about freedom of speech, you know what I mean? When you can't actually hold a sign up without somebody else ripping it down. Nobody's over there ripping down the Mexican flag that I can see, you know what I mean? They're over there waving it proud, it's awesome. So here we are waving ours proud, and then what happens? You practically get beat up, you know what I mean? So I'm one sign down.
I'm right with you. We need freedom of speech there too. I'm Mexican, and I'm gonna vote for Trump. I voted for what's his name, Obama before.
Yeah.
I did a bad decision on that. So
How come?
because I think he was a bad president.
So why do you support Trump? Tell us.
Because Trump is going to fight ISIS and finally get rid of them and fight them the way they're supposed to be fought. We're tired of being oppressed in the Middle East. Take your mask off! Obama doesn't care about us.
Trump is an American, first and foremost. He's for America, that's good. He's not Hillary Clinton, that's awesome. He's not a communist, I like that. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. I probably would rather to have a libertarian candidate, personally. But at this point in the game, we're looking at very slim options.
Insults, objectivity. Pussy. Over here. That's hard. That's hard. That's hard. You're afraid just like Donald Trump is. I'm not afraid. That's hard. Let's work it out. Let's hug and work it out. Let's hug and work it out. You're afraid.
They're getting pepper sprayed by the police or
No,
other people?
by the protesters.
Wow.
By the Mexican protesters.
Hello everyone! Hey, I'm just stopping by to remind you that liberals are insane! Social justice warriors are becoming more violent and triggered than ever before. Anyways, be sure to subscribe to KGP TV on YouTube and have a blessed day. Yeah, man!